Hello and welcome back to MDG Media for the final 9 holes of the 2025 Eastern Meadows Open presented by Rocket Discs FPO lead card. So we were lucky to get some FPO coverage from this final round to show you how this tournament unfolds. My name is Elias, Luukkonen, and on my right lap, Maxime Tanghe.
Hey yo, again everybody. It's gonna be some exciting action. We have 2 strokes between our leader Julia Force and Olivia Kindstedt chasing. It's gonna be interesting. I'm pretty happy about commenting on it with you, my friend.
Yeah, very much. It's not that often nowadays that personally I get the chance to comment on FPO. Interesting stuff happening, specifically at the end of the back nine. So Julia was playing really well. She was already 4 under through 7 holes. Then taking a double bogey and a bogey to end the front nine. Still 1 under par, but Olivia with a more solid 3 under. 2 other players on the card, Jenni, are a little bit further back. So probably not in it for the win for them.
Yeah, there is a bit too many strokes, I would say. As Jenni, Larsson is only 5 strokes at the moment, so if Julia is keeping the pace, she's gonna be okay. But if she's shanking some drives or anything, Jenni could be in position to go back. Hole 10 now, shorter than the MPO layout.
Yeah, still very difficult. The second most difficult hole on the course, and I think that's mainly not because of the drive, but because of the second and potential third, fourth shots. On the drive, you're throwing a slight turnover backhand or a forehand hyzer, try to get to the grass, and then you have a lot of trees on the fairway. You can either choose an anhyzer shot or a hyzer shot on the approach. Both are pretty tight though.
Oh, this is looking super nice. She's so far down the fairway now, putting some pressure on Julia again. It's exactly what she needs to do, and a super early kick, unfortunately, for Jenni.
Yeah, early release there. Let's see if Jenni can do something slightly better. And that was super close to being perfect. Not quite though. Even though it's a wider gap from here compared to the MPO, you still have to be very specific about what time your disc is turning.
And a good drive for Julia also.
Some struggles here. This is definitely a hole that you can bogey or even double bogey pretty easily if you just keep hitting trees. Luckily this one is looking much nicer and...
Unfortunate kick. Good standstill stroke from Jenni. And we are witnessing what can happen on this hole. Just going for some good shots and hitting some trees in the way. There's so many on this hole. Jenni with her 3rd shot now.
Good looking release. Yeah, it's an interesting hole because you don't really want to be in the middle of the fairway here. If you talk about the fairway being the entire grassy area, you rather want to be on the very left or the very right side. So an interesting dynamic here. And look at this kick from Jenni.
Yeah, very fortunate. She's gonna be in position to save the par.
Not gonna be good for the birdie. That was an incredible opportunity to be one of the few birdies even in the entire tournament on this one.
Julia now, 3rd shot, and an early kick, unfortunately. She's struggling on the last 3 holes.
Yeah, and even the short approach, they're not quite putting it under the pin. Gonna require some work, and now this is getting seriously interesting because... Oh, great run from Jenni. The thing is, Olivia has an easy par and even a run at birdie here. Let's see if she keeps being aggressive. Not quite. We saw very many aggressive putts from Olivia on the front nine.
And a great bogey save from Julia. Very important. So Jenni now over the par, over ball.
Yeah, not ideal, but luckily for Jenni, she has some solid distance that she can utilize on the back nine to get some birdies. The more open back nine, this is actually the last wooded hole, or fully wooded hole that we have on the course. Moving on to 11. Open, fully open here on the left side. The only trees that can come into play are on the right, so you can't really throw that open back and high as a shot. You have to throw something straight or turning slightly from left to right. I would love to see some soft turnovers or soft straight shots here. Hopefully trying to land the disc flat, as there is an opportunity to roll down behind the green.
We can hear the wind blowing this morning.
Yeah, the wind direction is pretty interesting too, as it's coming from the left. Look at this shot from Jenni.
Exactly what you were looking for as introducing the hole. Great shot from Jenni. This is a bit too early for Julia. Interesting putt coming. The down slow behind.
Some of the MPO cards, you can hear the introducer on the background, they're going out. As FPO was a little bit earlier in the day.
Another tester for Jenni.
This, yeah, I was about to say, this feels very much like a layup with the slope behind the green. And Olivia probably not laying up. Another aggressive, great bid. Her putting stroke is looking really solid today. Even though she missed that one, it was still a good hit.
Oh, she's going for everything. Going aggressive on every putt. We love it. And an unfortunate miss for Jenni Karppinen. She's gonna take another bogey. And an easy birdie, great drive. So still one stroke between Julia and Olivia.
Moving on, hole 12. This is going to be a great view to look at how far these players can throw, because on the first shot you can pretty much throw as far as you want with that straight to stable disc. Ideally you want to stay left side of the Mando, even if you're a bit short of it on the grass, opening up the angle on your second shot, because on the second you already want to enter the woods a little bit, ideally with a turnover shot or a forehand. To leave yourself with a shorter approach, the approach is playing uphill, so even making the approach 10-15 meters shorter is gonna significantly decrease the distance that you actually have to throw on your third. This is definitely a hole that I would love to see many birdie looks on. And on the drive, we actually have quite a favorable wind, as it's pushing from the right. So if you throw that slight hyzer shot, you can get extra distance and also move further to the left to improve that angle of yours. This is beautiful.
Yeah, good drive. As you were saying, could have been a bit more left. to open up the angle, but still very good distance from Julia. I'd say this is better angle-wise, but she's gonna be in the high grass.
Yeah, it's kind of a trade-off between, do you want to risk it all and go all the way left of the high grass, or are you fine with standing there? Probably not taking a run-up, which looks like Jenni is fully okay with. That's the typical landing spot for the second shot if you don't go too aggressive. I think Julia is probably trying to do something similar. Pretty low release there, but getting around the man, no worries. Let's see, Olivia. Very important shot here. Wants to get up and down for the birdie. A little bit short. Not quite flipping it up enough.
She had a 14-wood kick on this one.
Yeah. Probably a pretty likely par there, and yeah, 1 tree in the way. Actually, just a couple of trees in the way. Usually on the approach you can have a couple of different options. So Jenni here, of course, has a clean straight gap, but if you're further to the left, like the other players were, it's not so easy all of the time. Now that's gonna be a good bounce back opportunity for her. Nice to see.
Tester coming for Jenni from the left side.
What? Oh, that's insane. She was 15 meters out and it's even sloping down behind the basket.
She's on fire on the green. This is amazing to watch. And again, putting the pressure on Julia now. Let's see if she's able to handle it. She doesn't really have any experience facing that kind of situation. Oh, wow. This was early. Good birdie, though.
Good stick. Yeah, Julia, she has won a couple of 8 years in Sweden, but not on the DGPT level. And there you go.
Very nice answer.
Good mental there. So she's climbing up the ladder of wins, having a couple of, or 3 local 8-year wins.
On the Swedish Pro Tour, you mean?
I believe they were not on the Swedish Pro Tour, but some other Swedish 8-years.
And let's head on to hole 13, 84 meters.
Yeah, 84 meters. A tricky angle if you don't have a forehand, but if you have that forehand shot in your arsenal, it's not super difficult. Just throw something flat through the gap with an overstable disc and fade around the corner to the right. It's gonna be interesting to see. We have seen many of these players going for a backhand on a hole that usually would suit the forehand slightly better, but they have felt more comfortable with the backhand. Let's say, yeah, Olivia is probably might be the only one that goes with forehand here. We'll see.
Early kick left. It's going to be an interesting scramble coming. And this could be better. Low and deep. Just outside the circle. She's definitely in a comfortable situation on this hole.
This one needs to turn more. Yeah, just throwing a straight shot accidentally. I like the understability she had on her disc. Just needed a flatter angle out of the hand. Yeah, 3 backhands here. Very technical with the backhand. Especially with no help from the wind. In the past 2 rounds we had wind from the left helping that turning shot get to the basket.
Good upshot from Olivia. Seven, 8 meters left.
Really no wind right now. This is probably the calmest that I have seen throughout the entire weekend.
Yeah, probably. And also the best we had on this round.
Good effort there. Or at least a strong effort, not leaving it short.
And not able to capitalize. Let's see if Olivia is able to save the par.
Solid. Dead center.
Very good. Keeping the 1-stroke difference.
See, I think she has that kind of putt where you look at her putt and you go, she can become really great if she just keeps this sort of attitude up.
Yeah, I agree with you. She's really impressive today. She makes me think about Silva back in the days, just showing some amazing putting skills. And she has the distance also, good technique. She could find a way to become one of the best in Europe, to my perspective, from my perspective. Let's move on to the island hole.
Yeah, island hole here. It's gonna be an interesting one because oftentimes you make the island and you still have a scary putt. And of course you can always miss the island and take a guaranteed bogey or worse. But the island is pretty big here, especially with no wind. Most of the players, I believe, are going to try to play a little bit left of the basket, leave themselves with a dangerous putt, but keep the drive a little bit safer. So yeah, a lot of decisions here to be made. How safe or aggressive you want to play it.
And the interesting fact is we practice this island with a lot of crosswind coming from the left to right. And today we need to handle this one without anything and without wind. So it could be slightly tricky to change his way.
There you go, both Julia and Olivia playing it very safe to the left side. No risk of going OB. But also, I'd say almost no chance for birdie. This is more aggressive here.
Yeah, too deep.
Let's see if Jenni can throw with some softer touch here, hopefully.
Yeah,
Needs to sit down with the long OB, and that's gonna be good. Very nice. So 3 drives on the island. Nobody in a position where they are probably super comfortable running the putt. Although, from what we have seen from Olivia, I wouldn't be surprised if she was running the putt at least a little bit. Or is it just a layup? Just a layup. Julia seems to be looking at the ground as well.
So the situation is probably gonna remain the same after this hole.
Yep, Olivia keeping steady. Clean back 9 so far, being the only player to do so.
Let's move on to the par 5. Longest hole on the course. And a very tough one also throughout the weekend. Very windy, probably a bit more calm today.
Yeah, the calmness of the wind is gonna really help on this one, as on the drive you want to throw it somewhat far. you'd ideally get about 100 meters of distance off the drive, and then on the second shot, something similar, maybe a little bit shorter, to leave yourself with ideally not the longest of approach. So the important thing here is that you keep it in bounds on the first two, and then as the basket is closer to the right side of the fairway on the third, you probably want to rather land a little bit left and not risk that OB to give yourself a nice little inside the circle putt.
Yeah, important to mention that the drone shot was showing the MPO basket. This was the first one we saw on the right side, very close to the OB as the MPO basket is.
Nice shot from Olivia there, getting some good distance, and Julia with a much safer one.
Yeah, low line for the young player from Sweden. Good drive from Jenni. Good distance.
What about the other Jenni here? Little turnover, gonna be inbounds, but really probably not enough distance to go for the birdie here. So I think she will probably have to end up playing for par on this one.
Yeah, good control on the second shot.
Julia looking at a hyzer angle. Once again, very controlled, very safe.
En meter över marken hela vägen. Du har ju lite fördel för du är ju
And let's see, I think this is gonna be one of the best chances for Olivia to make a big move on Julia. She has the distance perfectly on the fairway there. 20 meters past Julia's second shot, and that's gonna be quite manageable for the birdie if she wants it.
Good second shot from Jenni also.
There we go, as thought. Jenni just playing for the par. That's what you have to do on this one after having a shorter drive. And Julia as well. Mature play. I think it's psychologically pretty nice actually to put the pressure on Olivia here, knowing that Julia is not gonna lose a stroke unless Olivia throws a great approach and makes her putt.
Oh my god, this is exactly what she needed to avoid. Unfortunate.
Yeah, not happy with that one. There is a slightest bit of a left to right slope on this hole, so that forehand easily can skip to the right side OB. And there you go.
Whoa.
Nice
Hunting the
approach.
chains. Very good control. Not scared at all about the OB right.
So Julia here to capitalize on the par, and that's a great shot. So now Olivia has a long putt from long circle 2 to make her par. That's not going to be the case. So we're going to have a 2-stroke difference going into 16.
Yeah, let's see if Olivia is able to find something and get back at Julia. We need a bit of pressure. We need this to be exciting, let's say.
Little tap in here. You can see from the mannerism, Olivia not very happy with how she played this hole. Really liked everything else besides the forehand approach there.
Yeah. I don't know if it was a real shank. She needed to be aggressive on this approach anyway. Or maybe not. One stroke would have been okay.
In January 2026, MDG Media is heading to Senegal for a mission unlike any before. Not just to film disc golf, but to build it from the ground up. We will create the country's first ever disc golf course, visit local schools, donate discs and baskets, and share the game with communities ready to discover it. Through every step, you will be right there with us, thanks to a full-length documentary and live updates on social media. This is not just a one-time trip. It's about spreading the disc golf spirit and making a lasting impact. We truly believe that our sport can help make the world a better place.
Let's move on to hole 16.
Let's go. Hole 16. We're playing from the short tee pad here, 150 meters. Important to pick your gap off the tee and commit to it, because there are a lot of potential gaps. Want to throw something rather to the right too far than too far to the left, as if you're more on the right on this fairway, you're going to have a better angle to approach the green, hopefully even see the basket. That would be the ideal situation. And yeah, on the approach, a little left to right slope here. Want to throw something that hyzers against the slope compared to falling down the hill with the forehand spin. I'd say the drive here is going to be the most important part.
This is looking great. This is a stunner. Beautiful drive on Julia. Just putting herself in a position where, you know, 2 strokes, great drive on 16. Just getting harder and harder for Olivia to think she can win.
And look at the contrast with Jenni and Jenni compared to Julia. Julia really committing to her gap. And Olivia as well. Falling a little bit left, but she's definitely still gonna have a chance at birdie there.
Really nice answer.
Yeah, definitely not over.
Not too bad from Jenni. Yeah, she tried to go through the woods with a straight putter shot. Unfortunately, hitting one of the early gardens. Archery in the way.
All right, Olivia. Important shot here. Want to get it close. So she is actually going for the forehand, and no. That's unfortunate. Not unlucky, but just unfortunate for the drama situation here. Let's see if Julia can put it close. Close the deal, and she has done it. Look at this touch.
Exactly what she needed. And going for the chains, actually. Very aggressive bit from Olivia and good control. Not to go too crazy and too far behind the basket.
Important to match the angle of the slope here. Yeah, that's what can happen if you land on that spike hyzer angle on a left-right hillside. Jenni there, good putt.
Good par save.
Yeah, happy with the par after a couple of shots hitting trees. Let's see Jenni here. Not quite able. She's had a rough round. It's not been her day. Let's go. Olivia still keeping the slimmest of hopes alive with 2 holes to go. And now gonna be 3 strokes between them with that great birdie from Julia.
By the book on hole 16 for Julia. Entering hole 17, par 4. Really interesting and beautiful hole.
Interesting, beautiful, and difficult. It's the most difficult hole in the course, actually. Averaging almost a full stroke above par. You have to throw something slightly right turning off the tee. Even a straight shot is going to do if you just want to stay in bounds. The fairway does get a little bit narrow, kind of exactly where you would like to land with an aggressive drive. So you have to keep it a little bit shorter in bounds. And then if you keep it shorter, the approach is going to be really long. So I could see a lot of players playing this for just a par.
Stable disc. Oh, this is looking late.
Yeah, it needs to come back.
Whoa.
Yeah,
She
gonna
went
be...
full on.
Yeah, very aggressive, surprisingly aggressive. I really thought she would just throw a mid-range just like this to the fairway.
And the angle is not going to be the easiest for Julia on the second shot. Let's see if Olivia is able to do something a bit better located. Exactly what she needed.
That's nice.
These 8 meters more to the left are changing everything on the second shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And this line from Jenni, very aggressive.
I think she doesn't have anything to lose right now.
Yeah, very much true. Jenni, good shot there on the second. I think that's going to be a typical play here. And probably a spot that Julia is also aiming for is somewhere right next to Jenni.
She doesn't really need anything crazy. Great control on this forehand. She's gonna be left with a 35 meters approach probably. If she can manage to be inside 4 meters to be comfortable with that basket on that mount. And unfortunately, Olivia not able to be in a birdie position.
Jenni continuing the aggressive play, blowing past the basket, way OB long.
So that's going to be a 5th shot from around 15, 17 meters for the Finnish player.
Yeah, tough situation when you know you have lost your chances and hard to keep the full focus until the end. Let's see if Olivia doesn't try to throw it in, just putting it close. That's a good play here. There's anything that can still happen with Julia. She can roll away if she doesn't land it flat here. But that's solid.
Should be fine.
Jenni just wanting to get over with this hole. Gonna be a double bogey for her.
Good putt. Same for Julia. She's gonna enter the last hole with a 3 strokes lead. I don't see anything crazy happening on hole 18.
No, I'd say you can bogey hole 18 with a very bad shot, but the double bogey is pretty unreasonable.
So it's kind of the same situation as yesterday in MPO. We would need an ace and a shank from our leader.
Yeah. Well, anything is possible. 100 meters here, downhill, playing closer to 85. You just put the disc in the air with a nice flat angle and it's gonna glide all the way to the green. It's a beautiful finishing hole, very satisfying to throw. Not the most difficult, for sure. Let's see if Julia can finish off with some style here. Trying to cap off her first DGPT event victory. And she's inbounds there.
Nothing can happen.
Yeah, she can pitch up from there and lay up again if she wants to. And she's still gonna win the tournament.
Yeah, the only situation where we could see some pressure on Julia's hand would be an ace right now.
Let's see it. Trying to go for the chains here.
This looks too low.
Yeah, just low.
Not a bad drive. She's around C2, 14, 15 meters. And she was deadly from this distance today.
Yeah. I like the height here from Jenni. Just a bit too much hyzer. You can see the downhill slope there. Beautiful glide from the disc. And so Julia here, of course she would like to get close that she doesn't have to lay up another time. Look at this shot.
She heard you. 4 meters max. And a layup for Olivia also.
Yeah, very nice battle we had today, though. You know, it was exciting all the way until hole 17 even. That's always nice, especially with the bigger differences in the field. You know, first and fifth spot had 9 strokes of difference, so a lot of variety in the field. Not Jenni's round today, but she's gonna come back stronger. She has great talent, and
It's going to be pretty interesting to see how she handles the pressure of an elite series. Would be interesting to see her with bigger player also from the FPO division.
yeah, for sure. And Jenni also, thank you for being on coverage. It was a pleasure to watch. Olivia, great performance for the second place. But
Beautiful to watch on the green.
yeah, but the woman of the hour is gonna be Julia Forss. This for her first DGPT title, and there she goes. Congratulations, incredible play by the 13-year-old player.
Crazy.
She's gonna become one of the greats, I'm sure, if she just keeps playing and keeps improving.
She's young, beautiful form.
Give it up for Julia Forss, our 2025 Eastern Meadows Open, presented by Rocket Disc winner. Yeah!
Yeah, let's go. Thank you for
Simon.
Yeah, Simon, one of the nicest guys you're gonna find in the sport. Doing a lot of work for the sport.
I suppose she was not too excited about making a speech.
No.
So 9 down, 3 strokes. Beautiful performance from Julia, a young Swedish player. Beautiful from Olivia also on the green. Really cool to comment on that. Thank you for being together in the booth throughout the entire weekend, my bro.
Thank you, Max, and shout out Cynthia Klesberga and Josephine Johansson for tied 3rd place. Thank you for watching the coverage. I'm looking at the camera that we don't have right now, but I hope you enjoyed it. See you next week in Ale.
Yeah, guys, thank you for watching. We'll see you in Ale next week.